All right, let's leave the quarterbacks there for now. Let's talk about this. The Athletic ranked the 18 teams that missed the playoffs in terms of most likely to bounce back in 25. And out of the 18 teams, and make the playoffs, the Browns were dead last. 18 out of 18. Fair or unfair? Do you agree with that?
Fair.
I think it's tiers.
Are the Browns the least likely team to make the playoffs in 25?
If you said unfair,
Yeah.
I'd say explain yourself.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, I think, first of all, there are 3 or 4 other teams you could probably make an argument that are right there with the Browns.
Sure.
But there's not a single team that you could say is clearly in worse shape than the Browns.
And going against Cleveland's the division.
Yes,
Which
and
is
the conference.
Is a gauntlet. The conference.
Now, Tennessee's still got to deal with the conference. The Jets got to deal with the conference and the Jets division. But the Jets division, at least, New England's also not very good.
Yeah.
Right? With Tennessee, their whole division is mediocre or worse. So the Browns play in a tough AFC and in a North where all 3 of the other teams are better than they are. Like the Jets, they're better than New England already, probably. Now, unless, what's his name?
Drake May.
Drake May takes a bit, but he's got no talent around him right now. He needs more talent around him. They'll probably try to address that this offseason.
The Raiders are also in a similar spot. I think you can make a case.
Raiders
AFC
in a
West
bad
is tough.
spot too. But there's no way. Like, yes, if the rate, can you bring that up again, Anthony?
Which ones you want?
The last 2. Well, you got the whole list or what?
Yeah, we have all 18.
I assume
we can
the
run through
Bengals are
all
1.
18.
The Bengals are 1, yeah.
Yeah. Bengals, Cowboys, Dolphins. Let's look at that. Do we disagree with any of that? Would you change any of that order? Most likely to make the playoffs next year.
I'm not as high on Dallas.
Who would you put ahead of Dallas, though?
I like Seattle. But
I'd actually put Atlanta
splitting
higher
hairs.
than Dallas.
I guess with Atlanta, it depends what you think of Michael Penix. I don't think he played enough to have a good enough feel for him. The Bengals are obviously number 1. They're way better than any of these other teams.
I'd put the Dolphins too.
You put the Dolphins too? I mean, it's all about Tua. Can he stay healthy?
Yeah.
There'll be 2 if Tua can stay healthy.
That's right. All right, next list. Cardinals. I'd have the Niners way higher than that.
I forgot about the Niners.
I wasn't thinking about. I'd have the Niners 2 behind the Bengals.
I would too, yeah.
How are they 7? Whoever made this list must not like Brock Purdy at all. Now, listen, Christian McCaffrey's getting old. I don't know what he's got left in the tank.
Isn't there some talk about, isn't Debo one out of there?
Debo wants out.
Yeah, Ayuk's coming off an injury. McCaffrey's coming off an injury and he's old. So they're not, but they're such a good organization with a good coach. I'd be shocked. I would put them 2 behind the Bengals.
The article talked about just the financial constraints and how, because they're going to have to pay Purdy and how that's going to affect the rest of the roster. But I agree, they should be higher.
I would have the Niners 2. I agree. Then I would have the Dolphins 3. And then I might even have the Falcons and Seahawks ahead of the Cowboys, possibly. Then Arizona, Panthers. I actually like the Bears more than the Colts and Panthers.
I do too. Ben Johnson.
I like the way the Panthers finished the year.
But I do too. I'm not.
I saw something in Bryce Young that I liked.
Agreed. And I like that.
Yeah.
I like for him that Dalton stayed there. They have a good relationship.
Chuba Hubbard, the running
Yeah,
back.
he
right?
had a great year. I think there's some potential there.
What's his face? The big kid from South Carolina that talks funny. The
Xavier Legette.
They still have. Do they still have what's his name?
What's his name? How am I supposed to know what's his name?
Adam Thielen.
They do still have Thielen, yeah.
Adam Thielen just puts up numbers.
He had a good year.
That's all he does. He still puts up numbers. And then I would have who was the other? I'm not high on Indy. I don't like their quarterback. And then the next group: Patriots, Jags, Jets, Raiders, Titans. I'd probably have the Jaguars ahead of the Patriots.
Splitting hairs.
But yeah, all right, fine. And then the Raiders. I mean, I'd actually have the Raiders lower. I think the Raiders and Browns are the last 2. What do they got? 16, 17, 18. Oh yeah, the Saints are terrible. Yeah, Saints and Giants are also terrible. But at least they're in the NFC.
Yeah,
and the Saints are in the NFC South. I would probably have them 15, and then the Giants and Yeah, I mean, like you could make a case that the Giants, Saints, and Raiders. You could make an argument if you want that they're in worse shape than the Browns, but it's not obvious. It's not clear. It's
a tier. 18, 17, it's all a tier of the bottom. And the Browns can certainly turn it around if they nail this quarterback pick and he becomes special. If not, it's going to be a year or two before we see the Browns be playing competitive football at the level that they want to. Not just, oh, yeah, we're on the fringe of a playoff spot, but no, like legitimately competing for a championship, which is what we all want.
How many teams would you say, in your mind, have no shot at making the playoffs or like less than a 1% chance? I would say the Browns are in that group. I would say the Raiders are in that group. I would say
less than a 1% chance?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd say.
I think the Raiders have a higher chance than the Browns.
I look at the Raiders and the Browns and the Giants and the Saints, and I say there's no shot they're going to the playoffs. No shot. I just can't see it. And I know that people would point to 2 years ago with the Browns, which was very fluky, but the roster was better. Let's face it.
I think my answer to that would be: is Bitonio back? Is Myles Garrett here, or not?
Yeah, I don't even think those things matter that much at this point.
Well, if it's going to be less than one, I want to know for sure that 2 of my 4 or 5 best guys are there or not.
Now, I guess I shouldn't say that, because if they drafted Ward or Sanders and they turned out to be the next Jaden Daniels, or things could change. But as of right now,
it's bleak.
It seems like there's no chance. I think the lowest team on the list that I would give a shot to make the playoffs might be Carolina. I'm with you. I like the way Bryce Young played the second half of last year.
Something there, man.
They just did him dirty.
Really good. Yeah, they threw him out there too early.
Yeah,
and
with
like
no talent around him.
It was really like sink or swim.
Yeah.
He had no chance.
And everybody was killing him and comparing him to C.J. Stroud. And you know what? He looked like a decent quarterback in the second half.
And you got to think about it. He had to go through all that adversity.
Yeah.
And people were even saying like his career was over.
I know, which was crazy.
After like a few
1 year.
games or whatever it was. And that was obviously something that fueled the fire for him. And I like the way he finished strong this season. So the Panthers, again, I mean, they got that new owner now, right, down in Carolina?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yeah, so hopefully they can turn things around. I've got a lot of friends who are Panther fans, live down in Carolina. And, that's a fun team to root for. Hopefully they turn around.
Yeah.
I got an email this morning real quick because we mentioned this 49ers. This is from our guy, Manuel, who's sent us a couple things before. And, we appreciate the feedback, but he sent me a trade proposal. I'll throw it out for you guys. We're talking about San Francisco. From Manuel, he proposed the Browns trading San Francisco the 2nd overall pick and the 3rd round pick they got from Buffalo in the Amari Cooper trade for Purdy and the 11th overall pick.
Why would the Niners do that?
I'm just telling you what I got sent.
I mean, don't kill the messenger.
But like,
if they love one of these quarterbacks and don't want to pay Purdy and think they can keep their window going by keeping the rest of the talent intact,
I'm not 100% sold on Purdy personally.
I don't like him.
You don't like him at all? So
no, he's good. I mean, I just.
You think he's one of those mid-tier quarterbacks that's
real quick. His reasoning for this deal is the 49ers have to keep their window open because they have another cost-controlled quarterback so they can pay everyone else. Was basically the.
Well,
the
who's
premise.
going to be their quarterback? Oh, you're saying they draft?
They draft Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders at 2.
That's not realistic. They're not going to trade. They like Purdy. They're going to sign him. I don't see it.
I can't get over the fact that he was Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
I just can't. It's a scarlet letter for him. For me, I see it every time.
That's it. You just said before. I said he's undrafted. You said, well, it doesn't matter.
No.
They say he's Mr. Which is they should not get rid of that title. That's so stupid.
My buddy was Mr. Irrelevant. Ryan
That's
Hogue,
so insulting.
2004. It is insulting.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You got drafted in the NFL. It's quite an accomplishment. To call you irrelevant is I hate that.
Obviously, it's sarcasm.
Yeah.
But like, I can't get over it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was the last pick in the draft.
I know.
Would you feel differently if he went undrafted and
I'd also feel
with the
differently if he were like 6'6" and 250
he's not
pounds.
Big. He's played pretty well when
He's
been
played
out there.
Great, man. I'm not denigrating his performance. I think he's a really good player, and the system has fit him perfectly. I don't know. I just can't get by something. He just doesn't look like all the great quarterbacks should look. Baker didn't either, and he's having a great year.
Right.
Or had a great year.
I still don't buy Baker can win a Super Bowl, and I'm not sure Brock Purdy can. I don't know. But I'm snobby when it comes to pizza and quarterbacks.
Purdy got to one.
He did get to one.
He did.